What if the reason you're not building wealth has nothing to do with how much you earn, but everything to do with the hidden habits you don't even notice? Building wealth is often less about income and more about the financial behaviors that quietly keep people stuck. Many assume that earning more money automatically solves financial problems, but in reality, even high earners struggle because of patterns that drain their income before it has a chance to grow. In 2026, financial success is no longer just about budgeting or cutting expenses. It's about identifying psychological traps, emotional spending habits, and decision-making mistakes that silently block long-term wealth creation. In today's video, I'll break down the top 5 financial mistakes that keep people broke, and more importantly, how to avoid them so you can finally start building real, lasting financial stability. Let's dive in. 1. The expectation treadmill trap. One of the biggest reasons people stay broke, even when they earn more, is something called the expectation treadmill. This happens when every increase in income is immediately matched by an increase in lifestyle. You get a raise, and suddenly you upgrade your car, move to a better apartment, buy more expensive clothes, and start eating out more often. On the surface, it feels like progress, but financially, nothing actually changes. Your income goes up, but your expenses rise at the same speed. The result? You stay in the same financial position year after year. This is why some people can earn $50,000 and save money, while others earn $200,000 and still feel broke. The problem isn't income. It's the lack of a growing gap between what you earn and what you spend. The fix is to adopt gap-first thinking. Instead of focusing on how much you make, focus on how much you keep. No matter how your income increases, your goal should be to maintain or expand a consistent savings gap, ideally 20% or more. If you get a raise, don't upgrade your lifestyle immediately. First, increase your savings rate. Then, only adjust your lifestyle slightly if necessary. This creates financial momentum instead of financial stagnation. Another important layer of this strategy is learning to delay gratification intentionally. When extra income arrives, giving yourself a waiting period, such as 30 to 60 days, before making any lifestyle upgrades helps you separate emotional desire from actual need. In many cases, the urge to spend fades, and you realize you were reacting to temporary excitement rather than a long-term requirement. It also helps to automate your savings the moment your income increases. By setting up automatic transfers, you remove the temptation to spend what you never actively see in your account. This ensures that your financial growth happens in the background, without relying on willpower alone. Over time, this mindset builds real financial resilience. Instead of living paycheck to paycheck at a higher level, you gradually create a strong financial buffer. That buffer becomes your safety net, your investment capital, and your freedom fund. Ultimately, breaking the expectation treadmill is less about restriction and more about choosing long-term stability over short-term lifestyle expansion. 2. Social media status signaling. We live in a time where spending money is no longer just about needs or enjoyment. It's about visibility. Social media has turned financial decisions into performance. This leads to what we call status signaling, spending money to look successful rather than actually becoming financially successful. People often fall into bucket 2 spending, money used purely for appearance. Expensive cars, designer clothes, luxury vacations posted online, all for validation from people who aren't even paying attention. The irony is that most people you're trying to impress are doing the exact same thing, trying to impress others. It becomes a cycle of mutual illusion, where everyone looks rich but few actually are. The fix is simple but powerful. The invisible wealth rule. Before buy anything expensive, ask yourself one question. Would I still buy this if no one ever knew I owned it? If the answer is no, then you're not buying value. You're buying attention. Real wealth is often invisible. It's savings, investments, emergency funds, and financial security, not things that lose value the moment they are purchased. Breaking free from status spending is one of the fastest ways to regain control over your finances. When you start applying this mindset consistently, your spending becomes more intentional and less emotionally driven. You begin to separate genuine utility from social pressure, which immediately reduces unnecessary financial leakage. Over time, this shift also changes how you define success, moving away from external validation toward internal stability and long-term independence. 3. Financial frictionless awareness problem. Modern financial systems are designed to make spending effortless. One-click payments, save cards, subscription renewals, and digital wallets have removed almost all friction between desire and purchase. While convenient, this creates a dangerous problem. You stop feeling your spending. Most people cannot accurately recall what they spent in the last 30 days. Small charges, subscriptions, food deliveries, and impulse buys quietly accumulate in the background. These are called money leaks, and they often go completely unnoticed. The issue here is not a lack of budgeting knowledge. It's a lack of awareness. If you don't feel your money leaving, you cannot control it effectively. The fix is surprisingly simple. A 10-second daily money check. Every morning, open your banking app and look at your transactions from the previous day. That's it. No budgeting, no analysis, just awareness. This small habit creates a psychological reset. It makes spending visible again. And once spending becomes visible, it naturally becomes more controlled. Over time, this daily awareness builds financial discipline without needing complex systems or strict budgets. 4. Overconcentration in illiquid wealth. Another major mistake that keeps people financially stuck is having too much wealth tied up in assets that cannot be easily accessed. A common example is being house poor. Many people invest heavily in real estate, which increases in value over time, but does not provide immediate cash flow. On paper, they are wealthy, but in reality, they may have very little usable money. The problem becomes obvious during emergencies. A medical bill, job loss, or urgent expense forces them to borrow money or take on high-interest debt, even though they technically own valuable assets. This creates financial stress despite appearing wealthy from the outside. The fix is liquidity diversification. Wealth should not only exist in long-term assets. It should also be accessible. This means maintaining a balance between property, investments, and liquid savings. High-yield savings accounts, cash reserves, and liquid index funds play a crucial role here. They ensure that when life happens, you don't have to sell long-term assets or go into debt. True financial strength is not just about net worth. It's about how quickly you can access your money when you need it. 5. Waiting for perfect conditions. Perhaps the most expensive financial mistake isn't what people actively do, but what they keep delaying. Many individuals postpone saving or investing because they feel unprepared, often telling themselves things like, "I'll start when I earn more," "I need to learn more first," or "I'll begin when things are more stable." The problem is that later is one of the costliest financial decisions you can make. Time is the most powerful force in wealth building, and even small delays can lead to significant opportunity losses due to compounding. The longer your money stays invested, the more it grows exponentially over time, and waiting just a few years can mean missing out on gains that are extremely difficult, if not impossible, to recover later. The solution is simple. Start with boring consistency. You don't need perfect knowledge or perfect timing. You need a simple system and the discipline to stick with it. Even consistent investing in something as basic as an index fund can outperform waiting endlessly for the perfect strategy. The goal is not perfection, but action, starting early and staying consistent. Because in wealth building, time in the market almost always beats timing the market. And there you have it. 5 financial mistakes that keep people broke in 2026. From falling into the expectation treadmill and letting lifestyle inflation erase every raise, to spending for status instead of real value, these habits quietly block financial progress even when income increases. Add to that the lack of spending awareness caused by frictionless digital payments, overconcentration in illiquid assets that trap your wealth, and a costly habit of waiting for perfect conditions to start investing, and it becomes clear why many people struggle to build real financial stability. The good news is that every one of these mistakes can be fixed once you recognize them and take small, consistent action. Wealth isn't built through perfection. It's built through awareness, discipline, and starting earlier than you feel ready. If you found this helpful, make sure to like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more practical financial insights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.